Hi everyone. Today I am going to be showing you another update on what I've worked on for my book that I'm working on. I do want to preface this by saying that I'm unfortunately going through I like to say moments of like pretty bad depression for a lot of reasons. Part of it's the weather, there's several different things going on, but that's probably going to be pretty apparent in this, and some of it's my fault that I didn't record earlier because I'm recording this on Tuesday and I wanted to upload this on Wednesday. I just wanted to preface it by saying that if I seem off, part of it is depression and then some of it is like pretty bad neurological issues where like my brain doesn't like function as well as it should. So my explanations might not be great. But anyway, I want to get into showing you my progress. One of the first things that I wanted to talk about was that my main character had absolutely no character flaw in the entire story. I did realize why I probably didn't pick up on that, and it's because she's kind of struggling through something and having to like persevere through things. So I can see how that would maybe mask as a character flaw, but even with all that, that is not a flaw that she personally has. When I first realized it, I was like almost like disappointed in myself. This is gonna be like kind of personal, I think, because she's not based on me, but I guess maybe somewhat, and you'll see the designs of her too. She's not me. There are aspects of myself that I'm using for her and the way she thinks is like me, but I didn't write it trying to put myself into the characters. It just kind of ended up that way. But I think the reason that I felt disappointed in myself is because I felt like as a Christian, we're supposed to, I wouldn't say like constantly have to humble ourselves, but like kind of a little bit. So when I realized that the character had no flaws, it made me feel like maybe there's a part of myself that's like being prideful or something. In reality, that's not what it was. The good part about it is that I know how to fix it and I know what to add and where to put it. So that's really good. Something that I found super helpful was this specific article, and I will put the link in the description down below. It is about how to make boring scenes more interesting or exciting. The most helpful part was that there was an example at the bottom of the article of how Stephen King made what could have been a super boring paragraph describing his character Andy from Shawshank Redemption. It could have been really boring, but he's describing him, and the way that he changes how he presents the information about the character is so entertaining. And I have to kind of simplify basically things for myself to understand it, to then implement it into what I'm doing. And so I called it relating it to something interesting. I'm just like, call it relating. For my story, because it's so short, what I decided to do was just relate some of what she is doing to things that are interesting. I was just able to implement the tips into my writing. It made it fun because I was like, man, now in the future I can maybe do that as I'm writing it instead of realizing it later. But yeah, that was really very interesting. So the next form of progress I've been made aware of with writing my sentence structure and pacing came from the YouTube channel The Plottery. Right? I will also put the video in the description down below. Anyway, sorry, I told you my brain is not functioning very well. The good part that I wanted to add about learning about your sentence structure, I did realize that I'm actually decent at not writing where it's like, she did this, he did this, they did this. There's a specific time kind of in one of my stories where I do that, but it's on purpose for the sake of, oh no, I'm not going to be alliteration. I write fairly decently when it comes to my sentence structure. Something I will probably keep a little bit more of an eye on is my pacing. A funny thing, after reading a book from a self-published author that I met, I realized that this sounds terrible and I feel horrible for saying it, but I am a lot better of a writer than the person that I met was. He had several very large authorship issues. They were very apparent, at least to me, which tells me that I do have a somewhat decent idea of how to present a story and write in a way that is, I would say, maybe a little bit more professional and more aware of basic things that a story needs to have and how to present it. So that does give me a little more confidence and a little less fear, because after learning from this YouTuber, like, you know, these are things you want to avoid, I reread it and I was like, oh, okay, like there are several things that I was like, I don't feel that I'm weak in those specific areas. So that's really, really good. My fear though is that I'm gonna have a huge blind spot when I do have it edited, and I'm gonna be like, oh my goodness, like how did I miss that? We'll deal with that when we get to it. I do want to show a few of the books that I've gotten. I have one right here, and this is one of the most gorgeous. This might be my favorite book I've ever seen. It's my idea of perfection in a book. It's a picture book of ateliers, emporiums, and savoir-faire. I don't know what that means, but I will give you like a better look at some of my favorite pages from this. All right, I'm just gonna do a quick flip through of around 10 pages, I think it is. I need to go kind of quickly just to not make this video too long, but look at all of this beautiful traditional art on the, oh, I want to say cover sheet, but I forget what this is called when you just open this up. But first page that I have marked, I believe these are either oil pastels or chalk pastels. But I love the rainbow and the organization. It's gorgeous. And then again, right here we have traditional art in like really pretty rainbow colors. And then here's like a collage. Then here's some close-up pictures from either like a drapery or an upholstery shop. It does tell you in the book, but I won't have time to go through and read it. And then this one I love because in my books you're gonna see not a lot of them, but some of the children's workshops. So that's really very fitting. Another collage. One of the things I really like about this is the handwriting all along here and right here. Like it reminds me of my grandma's handwriting. It's, I don't know, I wish we still wrote like that. Some people still do calligraphy, obviously, but I think overall our culture doesn't do as much handwriting as it does typing. Oh, this one of my favorites. Geology museum. And so this is the next page, and what I liked about this was the different marble and stone that they put in the panels on the wall. Very, very, very neat. Then another one of my favorite pages was these, it's like a library within, I'm not sure what it is, but it's got twinkly lights in the windows. So it's got like a lot of aspects of different things that I like all together. So it makes me happy. And then let me show you maybe two more. Okay, I'll do three more. These are knobs, like designs for different knobs. I wasn't going to show this one, but I like it so much I had to. And then here we have architectural pieces, different panels, and things like that. This is one of my favorite things in the world and why I want to go to France and go to the largest flea market that they have there. And then I will show you one more. And then last one is another collage of, I think these are like draftsmanship pages, designing the different paneling and molding for the interior of rooms. Again, one of my most favorite art pieces to look at. If I had a gallery wall filled with things that looked like this, I would be in heaven. Even that's beautiful. Look at that. I love close-ups of flourishes and stuff too. So yeah, this book is beautiful, and if you want to check it out, I would say it's definitely worth it. I actually have several other books that I want to show, but because I'm putting this up so late, I'm probably not going to put it in this video. One of the things I wanted to talk about is my character Matilda. This is me having to completely admit that I failed when it came to procrastination. Because it took so long for me to edit, I kind of like stopped progress when it came to the art. I should not have done that. So as far as my progress on her, I only have one extra sketch now. The celebrity that I got really excited about as far as using her as main reference was Diane Kruger. She has a very square face, which is exactly what I want, and she's still very feminine. When you look at her, it's a very strong facial structure, but there is still, I would say, like a soft undercurrent. Finding specifically Diane Kruger, that has been the most helpful one to exemplify, I guess, or manifest like what's in my head. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, and I apologize that there's not much art in this, is having a deadline for my book. I don't even know how to go about doing that. And I guess I'll kind of really quickly get into mental health because like I've talked about Elizabeth Coyle, she really does that, and it's super helpful for me. I might talk about it just for a little bit here really quickly. I was very, and still am very, very hard on myself about things, to the point where now it's like I can't do anything. If it has to do with something that I have to do, it's very, 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 very difficult for me to get it done. When you have anxiety and like PTSD and depression and stuff, basically what happened for me is that it rendered me kind of almost like mentally like disabled in a lot of ways, in that certain things that need to get done, I cannot do them as much as I want to. And it's not that I don't want to, I want to do them, but it causes problems with fatigue, with the complete horrible brain fog, to the point where making sentences, coming up with the words you need, isn't doable, let alone trying to be on a schedule and stuff. That for me is so hard, which is why me creating these videos is actually a really big deal, because I was like, I want to do this every 2 weeks because I do feel that's something that I can do. Anyway, the point about deadlines is that I have, I guess, set some sort of deadlines or schedules as far as videos go. It's 2 weeks, it's not weekly, so I feel like that's doable. But as far as a deadline for the book goes, I don't know how doable that is, because I don't know how much of what needs to get done for the book. Like, I don't know how much needs to get done for the book, basically. How can I set a deadline for something if I literally don't know how to do it? Hopefully I can edit this in a way that makes sense and is concise, and I do apologize if this is very wordy. If you guys stuck around till the end, I really appreciate it. Just know that I will have more next week to show. I think it's just, I'm still trying to figure all this out, but you know, it's a work in progress. Okay, all right, so I will see you again hopefully in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna try to post Wednesday or Thursday in 2 weeks. Hopefully I will see you guys then. All right, bye.